I'm Coach Brian Rana, and who am I? I am a health coach focused on nutrition, fitness, lifestyle, behavior changes in people all over the U.S. I've been doing this just specifically the last 8 years. Prior to that, I've owned gyms for a couple years. I've been a personal trainer for many years, and this all started back in 2001 with group fitness. I started teaching an ab class, and off I went. So that's a little bit of my history. I have had a significant amount of conversations, thousands of hours of conversations in the last 20 years, dealing with people in all sorts of different situations in life. And productivity is most importantly really the end all be all. We need to be a productive person and productive lifestyle, productive time management to be able to maximize the enjoyment of life, the journey of life, not the destination, so you can actually get to the destination, to things that are most important to you. So let's jump in, and so I'll have the Q&A box open. I'm going to share my screen. And we're going to talk about productivity and its impact on you. Productivity 101. What is it? How do we maximize it? How do we be an awesome team member and not someone who's, even whether you're at work, you're at home, or whatever, you're not just, kind of not pulling your weight, or you just don't get anything done. Nobody wants that. So today's contents and agenda, what we're going to be going over are the keys, concepts of productivity, what that means. We're going to go over productivity challenges, the things that get in the way, hurdles that you have to overcome, and then increasing productivity. How do we actually make that happen so that you feel productive? You can change some of your habits, your behaviors around the actions that you do on a regular basis to further create opportunities and change and get things done. All right, so the key concepts. Let's define what productivity is in the first place. Well, it's the overall measure of the ability to produce a good or service. Your company produces one or the other. I produce a service for my clients that I serve. I have goods in a sense of videos and PDFs and different things that I could essentially package up and sell as a good rather than a service, but I've chosen to interact with the people that I work with to ensure that we get the best possible outcomes. So my ability to produce the service is my level and rate of productivity to help a lot of people in the health coaching space. But for business, we want to turn profits, revenues, make sure that we stay afloat and actually produce things that the world values and people are wanting. So we index this that measures the output, what you get relative to the input of what you put in. And it's specifically measured in quantity and also quality. How timely can we accomplish those two objectives to produce that good or service that you have? So it's that relationship between that quantity, quality, and being able to turn out on a reliable situation of producing them. At the end of the, conveyor belt, the product is done, the service is presented, and it's sufficient to meet the needs of the customers you have. Now, higher productivity means accomplishing more with the same number of resources or achieving the higher output for the same input. So you either produce more in the same amount of time or be able to produce the same amount in less time. So how do we create that quantity, quality, while keeping quality as high as we can for the amount of production that you do? Well, workplace productivity is really just the amount of work that a staff or the company can handle in a certain amount of hours. So we think of a typical work week, Monday through Friday. We'd love to say that typical work week is a 9 to 5, but if you're lucky, that's what you do. A lot end up doing 8 to 5 or 8 to 6, or if you're working remote during quarantine, people were doing 7 to 7 because all of a sudden they're working during their drive time that they didn't do anymore. Certainly would hope that productivity increased with the sheer amount more time that people spend at the workplace, but also that doesn't necessarily mean the quantity of hours or the volume of total work available to do doesn't mean that you're going to actually get the outcome that you're looking for. Your productivity, your workforce may just not be that excited, enthused, or be as productive in the time because they're worn out, fatigued, tired, and the new constraints are different. So there's lots of situations that come up in that. Now it relates to how efficiently your workers accomplish your company's goals and producing those goods or services for the customers. Alignment, the vision of the company and the alignment of the employees and the staff, the overall ability for people to get along, work together effectively, efficiently, have a great team, and produce the outcome. That's what we're looking for. So how do we measure that? Well, divide the total output by the input. So the examples here, as you can see, the labor hours, resources used, like maybe raw materials, and how do we measure those? Of say like you produce a good that has like metal, so you buy raw metal to start to produce it, and how much waste versus actually the metal that got into the product. You got the outcome examples, completed projects, product goods, sales, number of customers. These are all things that we want, a number of happy customers. When I work with someone, I am definitely aiming for a very good output. People want to work with me. They like working with me. We're very productive at getting the results that they are after in their physical bodies. That's really important so that I can manage the labor hours or the resources or the ability to explain things multiple different ways so that the service, the outcome is favorable for the client and myself, as an example. So would love to hear, hit the Q&A, is what factors affect how productive you are? So if you think about a typical day, I'd love to hear what some of those could be. It could be time. It could be a certain level of stress management, time management. There could be even walking on your lunch breaks help keep you productive. And when it's raining out and it's dark and gloomy or 0 degrees, that in and of itself could cause a lack of production in you. So as someone hit up that Q&A, let's see, what are some of the factors in your everyday? I have one here that just popped up. It talks about their working situation of how they're how they actually sit and operate at their desk situation. So thinking about ergonomics and how well you are in alignment. I've talked about ergonomics many, many times on these webinars. The way you sit and your posture considerably impacts your ability to be productive. Nothing like running into inflammation in your wrist and then all of a sudden you can't type as well because it's like carpal tunnel type issues. I actually had worked with 2 people at the same time. This was about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, that got carpal tunnel surgery basically at the same time. One was in New Jersey, one was in Texas. And there could be a number of different reasons that created that situation. One worked for LinkedIn, one was her own business owner. Both ultimately resulted in lots of typing and lots of over repetitiveness in the wrist and forearm. And that could cause a definite lack of production, being able to just not do anything. We've got some other ones popping up. Appreciate it. You can send it directly to me or across anonymous as well. So we have sleep. Yes, sleep. If you watched an extra episode of I saw John Oliver this weekend. I just love the guy. He was talking about the Great British Bake Off and how Americans just love it. If you ended up watching one more round and all of a sudden it's of Susie baking her, crisps and butter breads and stuff, whatever. But now all of a sudden it's 1 o'clock and you got to get up at like 5 or 6. Yeah, you're in for a rough day. That's most certainly. Now, motivation, I feel more motivated when I work out in the morning before work. And if you skip that, then you don't have that get up and go. I'll admit today it's raining, there's snow on the ground, it's gray, it's gloomy. I woke up and I wasn't as energized. I did get outside and walk my dog with my wife. Coming back, I knew I had this webinar. I wanted to have some energy, and movement is energy. And so being able to get out and walk, I have about a little over 4,000 steps so far. That gives me energy so I can be productive and I can be up here not over caffeinated and rubbing my eyeballs because I'm tired. All right, we have another one. Distractions in the workplace affect productivity 100%. An example, people gathering outside a workspace, even the water cooler could totally be a drag and an energy suck if the situations or the people or whatever's going on in the background exists. So that's something that you probably would want to avoid if there was a certain energy happening, or body language. You could literally see body language at the water cooler situation. Are people laughing, or are they stirred and their arms crossed, or there's different intentions around their energy. Anything, even having someone interrupt you in the middle of your workflow and you're typing away and you're focused, someone knocks on the door, shows up next to you, it's incredibly distracting. That's one thing. My wife and I both work at home. She is a travel advisor. She's mapping out all these awesome destinations to Europe, and there's someone going to just in Costa Rica, and she's mapping out all these things. And I have to be very conscious about how I engage with her, especially when she's in work mode, because if I come up and just start talking, it can be very disruptive. Or if I interrupt that thought process, and she gets derailed, and it takes it literally does take time to get back on track. We want to dismiss that sometimes, but they'll say getting off track could cost you even up to 15, 20 minutes to get back into work mode. That's incredibly disruptive. Safety sometimes slows productivity. That's a great point. We definitely obviously need to be safe, but if you have all this red tape to go over to be able to produce something, then that ultimately ends up being built into the productivity. Now, the friction becomes as if the productivity still has to maintain at that certain rate of speed, but you have all these barriers to get to the goods or services being produced. That's very challenging, and that then conflicts with safety as well. Unplanned disruption. So I think we all know the best thing is that 4 quadrants around disruptions, and we'll just throw it out there. We have important and urgent. We have urgent and unimportant. We have important but not urgent. Then we have the last one being unimportant and unurgent. So certainly having a list of the things that are most important to you, to objectives to get done, that's going to then create a higher productivity for you. I actually have a list. I've been doing this for a long time, a couple months now, is writing down what are those most important things, is top 3 things I need to get done in a day, so I stay focused. Because I had 13 phone calls yesterday. I dropped kids off at school. I picked them up. I took them one went to dance, one went to fencing. What else happened? I was trying to cook some dinner in there. I attended 2 sales trainings. It was a very busy day. And so there's all these moving pieces. And if I don't have that focus on this has to get done, it's not going to get done. So let's move on. I appreciate your engagement. I love engagement. So thank you so much. Benefits of being productive: greater output. Time is managed efficiently. Everyone loves when that happens. Ideally, that doesn't necessarily mean that the bar gets raised of okay, you produced X in this amount of time. Good job. Okay, we're going to do X plus this much in that same amount of time. That creates friction and stress. So we would always want to be conscious of that so that errors don't get produced. Having happy customers. we want to make sure that the person on the other end is receiving what our intentions are for the business, the work, the goods, the services. So nobody wants a lemon product in a sense, right? I just ended up buying a car too in the last 2 weeks. My car died. I've been driving minivans for 12 years. I'm 41. I've been married. My high school sweetheart. We have 4 kids, 14 to 8, 3 boys and a girl. And we've been driving dual Honda Odysseys. So we end up getting a hybrid Mini Cooper. Oddly enough, it's fun. It comfortably seats 4, could squeeze in 5, especially with the kids being younger. But nobody wants a lemon hybrid car thing coming off the market and having all the stress and the effort. So we want to make sure that we're diligent on the front end, that things are properly planned. We have happy employees. Of course, the people that are on here, there's a reason why they asked you to attend, right? It's not only just for, like, say, better insurance rates or something, but to make sure that you're more informed, you're making better decisions. I hope that you have some really good takeaways of things that we talked about. Even if you have one productivity hack that improves your rate of speed, of effort, and service and delivery, that's really good. That's what you want. That's what everyone wants. And that in and of itself will make things happier. So we definitely want to have increased morale, a lot of team building. That's one cool thing about Wellable. If you ever check them out on LinkedIn, they're very active there. Obviously, I follow them and them as a company. They're always doing team building type activities and such. They're doing getaways and different bringing groups or people or lectures or in keeping their employees very happy. So it is a fun, more enjoyable place to be and spend the majority of your life working there. And increased motivation. If you're doing what's necessary, then things get accomplished and it's very exciting. Just like, thinking of someone that does stuff with what I'm doing. Someone's starting to lose weight and they're getting out and doing their steps. I'm a big step guy. I have my watch. But they're out there getting their steps in. They're eating healthier and better. And all of a sudden, they're starting to be able to go farther, faster. They're losing weight. It just perpetually creates a more enjoyable, more productive experience. Less time and more results. So workflow, and that's the idea of every single person, is improving the flow of the work so that ultimately there's less stress, less time. Can we have meetings in 20 minutes instead of 40? Can the person running the meeting be more productive and make sure there's a clear outline and we're strategically hitting these points so that we can move on to the next thing? I have a lady in Michigan. She is in one of the C-suite positions. She travels all over the place. She's never home. She's always going somewhere. But also her day in, day out is spent on Zoom. She's in one meeting to the next, which then forces her to have to do her actual work in other times of the day, like the evening or mornings or the weekend. That's not efficient way to... That's an efficient way to do burnout. That's the next point is being more proficient in everything helps with keeping people happier. So what are some of the challenges that we face when it comes? Certainly distractions. It's already been brought up twice. It's really easy. In this day and age, there's a million things screaming for your attention, right? Attention, I believe, if you follow some of those... I like watching YouTube and YouTube Shorts more specifically because it's really tight, condensed information in like a minute or less, and it's usually pinpoint on making a point rather than spending 15 minutes on the 3 must-know top things, whatever. That ends up being a lot of time. So, but you have all this attention is the economy that we are in right now. So everyone is spending a lot of time, energy, effort, and money to do so. Your phones are doing that. The email alerts, even the badge number of how many unread emails, that's a distraction. I don't have that on my emails. I don't want to see that. So I'm going to answer the emails that are appropriate and gloss over the ones that aren't. And I have actually unsubscribed from a significant amount of email interactions that somehow I got put on. Therefore, I just get less in my inbox, so it's less distracting and cluttered. Eliminating these outside distractions really helps you obviously be more productive. So managing your phone, there's a really good article on Better Humans. It's about how you could just literally Google Better Humans, how to make my iPhone work for me. It'll give you like 50 different ways to streamline your phone. So even the rise to wake, when you lift it up and it turns on, or the notifications are constantly flashing at you, that's really disruptive, and you'll totally turn your attention, because at this point we have this learned behavior. My phone just made a noise or a sound or a buzz. I need to go see what it is, regardless of how important or not. So managing your schedule is going to be super duper important. Have times where you can focus on certain activities and times that you can't. In general, the first part of your day is going to be the most productive time, because that's when you have the most energy. And as the day goes, life compounds and it builds, and there's disruptions and things that need your attention because something broke or someone needs attention. In my situation, at 3:30, kids are in the house, so they want all your attention, and there's 4 of them, and then there's also other evening activities going on as well. So there's like 18 things. I think yesterday I left at 4:15 from my house, and I didn't come back till 8 p.m. because I was out moving kids from one spot to another. Some of you with kids could appreciate that and shaking their heads. Yes, I get it. So no clear goals. You have nothing, no set plan of action. It's very easy to get lost and not stay on those top 3 things. So I think I said it already, the top 3 things that are most important to get done at work or at home or in your life in general, those are the most important things. The items 4 through 10 are the most dangerous things to do. Why? They are the busy work can potentially be more fun than those 3 things that have to get done. In my world, something that's holding me up from being more productive is opening up a business checking account. So I've been looking at different banks and their offers, and just even finding the offer that best suits me and my business in its current state. I've looked through 5 different ones. I'm reading all this fine print, and I'm looking at what the offers are and how it lines up. There's a whole bunch of stuff to look through, and it takes a lot of time, and I don't want to do that. I'd rather do something that's even easier. Like I absolutely know that I'm going to need to, say, wash the dishes or clean out the sink, and therefore I'm going to focus on that at 9:30 p.m. rather than sitting down and staring at my computer trying to figure out which bank I should be going with for my business checking. Here we go. Now, procrastination, guess what? I've also procrastinated on the actual looking for the business checking account as well. Go figure, right? Because it's not something I'm familiar with. I'm not very excited about, and it's easy to kind of push off, and I lack direction on which one actually would do it, because there's way too many options. Every bank has at least 3 options of the basic 0, the silver, the gold, or the platinum or whatever. And so they have all these options, and you got to sit through and like, can I get one that doesn't have a high monthly fee that suits the amount of income that gets put into it, and I'm not going to get charged for additional transaction fees, or if I make too much money this month, what do? I'm going to have to pay for that as well. If I don't make enough, then I have to pay for that as well. It's just like, that's it. I have one bank that I'm looking at. So that's just things that I'm experiencing literally in the moment, and want to procrastinate on. I'd much rather go work out. If I could book my buddy to come work out with me today, I'm going to do it rather than staring at my computer. So procrastination, we know that it's putting things off. So at work, if you don't have clear direction in what the outcome needs to be for the project that you're on, you're going to slow it down naturally because you're just unclear. You might do a task here and there, but not have certainty on what the next clear steps are. Unpleasant tasks, negative emotional tasks, grocery shopping, writing reports, even taking the trash out. For me, today is Tuesday. Today is trash night, and where my house lives, where I live on my street, it's a 9-minute round trip to take my trash cans to the main road and then back. It's not convenient. I have an alarm that goes off around 9:45, 10 o'clock, and it totally catches me off guard often because I'm not thinking about it, and it's an unpleasant task, especially now with snow, cold, and it's dark out. Low self-esteem and doubting your abilities can definitely slow things down. If someone has put some objectives on you for a project and you don't feel certain you can do it, and you're going to slow that your abilities to move through that, or even procrastinating on finding the right solutions, or even asking for help. You're going to delay that because you might feel embarrassed that you have to ask for help in the first place. And there's that fear of failure then, because someone trusted you with this project and you can't pull through with it. Now here's a good one. Multitasking does not work. Therefore, you should really pay attention to how you use your time. I would not be able to deliver this, manage my cats that are in the background. I got a couple cats, and text, reply to someone, and then try and answer an email as well. It's going to be very incoherent, broken thought patterns, behavior, and you're going to see it. You're like, wow, is this guy giving a webinar? Is he doing back end work on his business, right? So I need my full attention here, and I can't multitask because you definitely know when I am. There's a pausing, and you get into the type of responses, or you just kind of miss something someone's saying. You have to ask them to repeat it. My wife loves that when I do that. If I'm trying to do something else and she catches me off guard wanting something for her done, then I can lack productivity in shifting tasks or focus there. Now, when you are multitasking, it's like all those little tabs on the top of your browser. It's very disruptive to figure out which place you need to focus your attention on, and switching between tasks becomes very inefficient. You waste more time trying to figure out what is relevant or irrelevant in the overall details that are there. And there is literally a time cost of shifting from one thing to the next. So if your fellow coworker comes in and says, hey, I need you right now, do you really need them right now? Or would it be better to hey, I need a spot on your calendar so we can talk about this? That might be a way better approach for you to adapt, especially if you in the past were the one that was always interrupting people and you didn't realize it, and how much productivity you're taking from that other person. You do it enough, people don't want you to come around. Man, they just always want to talk too long, or they don't get to the point. They keep popping up, and I can't get anything done. So we gave a number of different examples, procrastination being one of them, just lack of focus and clarity. When do you find yourself most unproductive? I'd love to see it in the chat. Here's the obvious one I'm just going to pull out straight away. That 2-3 o'clock in the afternoon is a natural point of unproductivity because of generally, I believe, typical human behavior. What I mean by that is oftentimes not any of you per se, but the general idea is you go in, you skip breakfast because you're rushing around. You get your caffeine and maybe sugar, and you're over caffeinating yourself in the morning. You end up not packing a good balanced, healthy meal. You end up eating out. You eat too many calories and carbs. and then all of a sudden it's nap time at 2 o'clock. Maybe you can resonate with that. And then also you've been at work for 5-6 hours and you kind of want to start to wrap things up for the day and shift into your normal everyday life, or there's something else that's exciting to look forward to in the evening. So that's an obvious, clear, and productive time for humans in general. I see it time and again. Oftentimes it's better nutrition, better time management, clears that right up. And we have people being very productive throughout the entirety of their day. So when there's too much noise in the office, it's outside clutter in a sense. That's not something you can control. And that can very well be a big challenge, and it breaks your concentration oftentimes. So I really love that you pointed that out, Nicole. I actually got some earplugs for my wife. I'm not sure if I should take offense to it or not, but she has Bose noise canceling headphones. Now she also has earplugs called Loop, L-O-O-P, earplugs, Loop. And there's a number of different types of these earplugs, but they help buffer the outside noise. So what you end up doing is you're turning down the outer noise, and you're able to focus a little bit more because there's not this disruption. Like maybe you heard the cats running around, or if I close the door and the cats, they start knocking on the door, which is right here, and they're like knocking, like, let me in. So it's I've done this enough times. It's way better to just leave the door cracked for them to come in and out. But that is incredibly disruptive, especially if you have realized you're a bit more sensitive to noise or sound and whatnot. Yeah, anyone else? What are some of the more unproductive things that you find yourself stuck in? Well, another one comes in. It's just sitting too much. For the love, yes. If you're at a desk and you just sit and sit and sit, that is really unproductive as well. Humans are only going to do so much in a certain amount of time before they actually need a break, and that ultimately results into better time management. The more that you can manage your time and allow for breaks, allow for not working through lunch and actually do something like physically active, you're going to give yourself a breath of fresh air for the second part of the day and still maintain a productive energy about you. So that's a good one too. I'm glad someone pointed that out. Any other ones? Where are you most unproductive? All right, we're going to keep moving forward. So how do we actually increase productivity? That's the name of the game here for everyone. Time is money, they say. So number one is keeping track of time. In my initial conversations, when I'm talking with someone, say that you wanted to investigate to see if, hey, what does Brian actually have to offer and how could he help me? Yeah, so we're going to jump on a call to make sure we're a good fit and I can actually solve the situations that you are in and what you're looking for. And sometimes on my end, I just talk. I can talk too much. The other person can talk too much, and there's not brevity in the situation. So timing the event for me on that first call would be incredibly helpful. Now, for you guys, I have to fill an hour. It's I can't walk out of here and like, hey, I just raced through these and it was a 30-minute presentation. So there's got to be a lot of anecdotes, stories, and ways to get you to think differently and open up your ability to be more productive. So I'm going to try to tie a lot of these things in, whether it's my own personal experience, my experience working with a significant amount of people in the last many years, or obviously when you guys chime in the Q&A, that's super helpful. So how much time do things actually take? And making sure that you plan appropriately. To alleviate one is, are you distracted or not, and you're just wasting time? Number two, have you actually allocated enough time into the day to get the work be done. If you don't allow enough time, then that will cause stress in and of itself. On the flip side is, hey, this project is due next Friday. Well, immediately in your mind, like, that's 9 business days away or 8.5 business days away. Okay, I don't need to do that now. Think back in the day, same thing with school papers. You would totally push that stuff off and just not be productive. We got another one jumping in here. I am distracted because of other jobs trying to contact me all day, right? Depending on what your role is, you might have access to the outside world, and they're always calling you, and they're always contacting, they're always interrupting you as well. There's one time I've always had this. I've always been a point person for my own business, obviously. So if you were to text me or something, I'm immediately going to stop whatever I was doing and be like, hey, this person is engaging and is interested in potentially working with me. I'm immediately turning my focus here. So whatever was happening stops. And that is good because I always need to be enrolling new people in the program because I try to be really good at what I do, and then I get people the solution. So we only need to work together for so long. They got their healthy habits, the behaviors, they've lost weight, they've gained endurance or strength or whatever their focus is, and we work together for a certain time frame, and then we don't. So I'm always looking and working there. So I can get disrupted quite a bit, just like that. Outside influences on my time. So as I said, set realistic deadlines for the appropriate amount of time you need, helps you stay motivated, keeps you focused, and project online. Now, using technology, there's an app for that, most likely. This could be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. If you are like me, I literally work from my phone. And working from my phone, there's great advantages to it. I'm location independent and I get to manage my time a lot better. But also, I'm on my phone all the time. And that in and of itself, I can answer 200 text messages some days. That's a lot of time engaging with people, and every single person, we have the common thread of improving their health, their nutrition, their fitness. So in that similarity, I'm in the same brain space, but every single person is living a different lifestyle, has different needs and attention. And so I can't always just give blanket statements to across the board. I need to be able to engage and troubleshoot and problem solve in that person's specific situation, whatever it is, or even give them a high five, well done on accomplishing this. Somebody yesterday sent me a text about how they went a minute faster from their last 1 mile time trial. That's awesome. We've been working with this lady for about 3 weeks. She's running faster. Her eczema is cleared up. She has better energy consistently throughout the day. She's sleeping better. She's more hydrated. She's lost a couple pounds. She's feeling amazing, which is awesome. So I want to celebrate that. That's an example of Jenna that came from New Jersey. So there's a lot of different apps that you can do with tracking your time. There's lots of habit apps. There are distraction type apps. There's a newsfeed eradicator is one that I have on my Google Chrome extension. What it does is blocks Facebook's newsfeed. So I'm not on Facebook nearly as much as I was in the past. But when I was on it, you could scroll a couple, even 3 scrolls when you open up, a social media. That's an incremental amount of time that adds up every time you do it. That's not productive. That takes away from you and it shifts you from the whole reason you're there. When I am on a social media platform, I'm doing it for educating, inspiring, entertaining people and helping them get better outcomes for their health, their fitness, and hopefully they like what I have to say. But the newsfeed eradicator really helps slow that down. Now, I certainly want to take advantage of what we could call net time. No extra time. So by taking advantage of this, it takes the commute to the office. You might be doing dishes or laundry, or oftentimes I'll encourage people to walk while they answer emails or texts or on phone calls. Stop staring your coworker in the face on a Zoom call. Get up and go walk with them for a meeting that you don't need to be, work intensive in a sense. If it's a conversational type of a meeting, walk with them, get some steps, activities, move your bodies, then you can actually think more clearly and create more connection, which ultimately then creates more productivity, not just staring at everyone through a computer screen. That's a great way to manage your time better. Of course, productivity, there's this need to feel like you always have to be producing, right? And that's been the general context of what we've been talking about so far, the context of this whole presentation, the context of your working relationship with the business company that you work for. How can this person be more productive? But also there's productivity about you just being a human. So things like meditating, reading a novel, journaling, having some time to Netflix and chill, not too much time, playing board games, playing video games, walking your dog, spending time with your partner or a spouse, with your friends, going to eat. All these things are other ways to also increase your productivity. We want to have balance in our lives and not you're just the hired help and that has to just produce and produce. If you're happy in your life, you'll be a more productive person, period. If you're showing up a day in, day out to a place for just a paycheck and you don't really like that or the people around you or even the mission of the company, that's going to be pretty fatiguing and it's going to wear on you over time. So taking a break, perfect segue, right? Make sure that you have time off, whether it is at a lunch break, you actually have 10, 15-minute chunks in the day that you can stop. Every hour you stop for 5 minutes and get up and move your body. That could be a really good pattern of behavior to just function better and be happier to work around or happy employee in and of itself. So job satisfaction will then rise up. People will be more likely to recruit you, to employ you, to think highly of you, to recommend you, have positive reviews, get pay raises. All these things coincide with being productive from just a persona itself. Now, as we said, taking a break creates productivity. There's a cat now that I need to move. Excuse me, he was scratching. That wasn't going to work for any of us, huh? Now, so taking a break creates a creativity. You boost your mental well-being is improved and better. So here's a good example, a 2-minute rule. If it takes 2 minutes or less, do it immediately. Hit some quick emails, schedule a quick meeting, clean up your desk. People don't realize how much clutter can impact themselves and their workspace and their working environment. When starting a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do some of these things. Make a better choice. That's a decision that takes 1 second in your brain. Writing a proposal to get something started. We don't want to just stare at a blank screen. We need to get something written down and allow for you to be able to take action. We don't want to just be staring at the flashing letter symbol popping up on the thing, on your computer screen. Yeah. Start running in the meeting. Put your shoes on and go. Now, running in the morning. Don't delay. Just get up and do it. If you even need to sleep in your shoes and your workout running clothes, do it. That will help break down the barriers to entry for you to make progress. So the next thing is going to be saying no. No to cats. Cats, you cannot play in the box. It's not working for anyone here. So we say no. Being able to respect your time, your energy, your responsibilities, your roles and tasks in certain situations in life, from you, your own person, to you being in a relationship with your significant other, to being at a relationship in the family, in your work environment. It's important to set good boundaries and do it respectively and not do it. Don't be rude about it. But if you can say no, and that in and of itself can help you feel better. A show of hands, or hit a thumbs up button if you do really well by accepting every single task and opportunity that comes your way. Said no one ever, right? Like, oh great, I'm overscheduled and I'm thriving on it. Usually not how that works. So we also need to know our limits, when to say no, how to prioritize things, and even say no in the moment to someone. Hey, John, I need this. Okay, great. How about at 2:30 today when I have some more time to address this? So it's a soft no, but you're also opening it up to the opportunity to continue that line of communication, to stay open for them. That's a great way to shift it. We have meeting etiquette. Scheduling a meeting, we want to be respectful. We want to start and end on time. I tried to start right on time. I'm going to get us done here before the hour's up. We want to stay on task, so we're moving through the slide deck, trying to tie in different things to stories and situations for you to think differently about productivity, and not just be like, you need to produce more in the time you have and the resources you're given, right? That's not helpful. That's obvious. Making sure we have specific takeaways. So hopefully through the explanation, the conversation, the stories, there are takeaways that are starting to sink in. Like, wow, I really need to check out that article he talked about managing my phone so it's not so disruptive all day. My phone is on silent. It doesn't beep, flash, do anything unless there's specific courses of action that will trigger that. And then those I've already deemed to be more important than the daily things. I will get to those throughout my day because that's just part of the work I have to do. Let's say answering text messages from clients. That's just part of my work, just like you answer emails. But I'm not going to have my emails flashing up on my computer screen all day long so that I can't do whatever's important at that time. If you must have a meeting, see if you can do it over a video, email, quick call, have a walking meeting, as we said, or have a standing meeting so you can actually just get some movement in your body. Having a productive space, clutter will drain your battery. Having too much stuff around is mentally limiting and challenging. So getting an aesthetically pleasing space, having plans, having different sheng fei. I'm not saying that quite right. But having the space work in your behave your attitude, your energy, and match that. It really creates that happy environment that you want. So plants, natural lighting, pictures, motivational quotes, different things to help keep you productive. So what are some ways you can be more productive? Is there things that I said? I'd love to hear the chat going on. So type in something and see what were some of the things. There's like 30 of you in here. So someone has a takeaway, whether you share it or be anonymous. One here, they're going to make a lot more effort to walk during the lunch break. That's excellent. Hopefully you can find other people that could join you, so then you can talk about something other than work and actually get to know your coworkers and bond and connect with them. So project bonus incentives. Yes, that will increase productivity. Hey, here's a dollar amount that gets tied to the outcome of this going well. Who doesn't like bonuses, right? I would love it for someone to give me an extra $100 at the end of our work because I did such a good job. Like, wow, I felt like I got you on discount. Here's a tip. Here's a bonus that you did so good with me. You really helped me see. That'd be great. Working with a good team, having people that will help and you can rely on them. That in a way, when you have that bond with people and you believe in what you're doing, you will do the extra effort and you will do it in a timely manner and you'll do it in a way that is motivating, exciting, and actually accomplishes something. So I love that. So I want to thank you. Get done here in a timely manner. I hope that some of the things I talked about today on productivity, how to increase it, what gets in the way of it, really gets you to think differently. Therefore, you'll be able to take new actions, create new habits, routines, behaviors around your experience in the workplace, but even more importantly, in your personal life, because that's where it's most important. If you wear a smile at home, you can bring that smile into work. But if things they're upside down at home, it's really hard to fake it in the work environment. So I'd love to open up any questions, any comments, insights, clarity. You're more than welcome to post them in the Q&A, the comments on this as well. And I want to thank you for joining me today.